have to put in to make sure that they're not going to get a second chance at the main event. They're going down to the losers bracket, so very little room. Okay, there's no room for error anymore. Not little room for error.
Do you feel like they're a team that tilts?
Based on experience, yes, because when I said this before to friends and to when I'm casting at like BTS, I always tell LD and Gods that if you're on a team with Tron, you lose the game, and you get this reaction from him. He's unhappy, and you don't want that to happen again because it's not good. So I always say that if you play with Tron in a team, you don't want to lose 2 best of 3s back to back. But then again, if you are down to the losers bracket, you only have 1 chance. So
yeah, I mean, basically, it is.
There's only
pretty rough.
this much the rage of Tron can do when you are at the losers bracket.
All right, fair enough, but I think you put it in the right way. At this point, it's not even like little room left. Like,
no room.
If you go down to that point, you're pushed to the very edge. Either you make a miracle happen, or that's where your TI run ends. That would be pretty unfortunate. Let's return, though. Of course, we aren't done with our match. After taking a look there between IG and MVP Phoenix, maybe Hot Six can take some energy for MVP Phoenix doing well, gain their confidence, but it does look like either they're stubborn or just they're not able to adapt very well against these other teams who seem to say, all right, hey, you wanna do that? Like, we saw you do that the other game. We've seen you do that before. We're just going to play it a little bit safer and then aggress right after you make that first mistake because you chose to play a harder game. Virtus Pro feeling really good. I mean, that's, I think, the first time we've seen players like react to the camera. They're like, oh, hey, like, we just won the game. We're feeling really good. So VP seems pretty happy about that one.
It's time for MVP Hot 6 to react that we can't just pick spellcasters for MP, or he, as a player, has to tell his team, guys, this is actually not working. We have to do something else. I can't just be playing spellcasting mid-heroes.
All right, well, into the draft of Game 2. Again, it's time to find out, can Hot 6 switch things up, or will it just be down the same path once again?
We do have one more update, by the way, which is Newbie managed to take down Empire in the first game.
All right.
And that was actually really one-sided. Newbie destroyed them. So Empire, that might be, if you look at the situation right now, that might be the worst prediction I've made so far. I've had a couple of questionable ones, but I had really high hopes for Empire going in. They are not looking good right now. And
yeah,
the question is if, once again, can they pull themselves together for the main event? They had a 2-0 yesterday against VP, which was great. Then they got 0-2'd, and now down 0-1 against Newbie, who, if history repeats itself, will probably end in a draw with them. But they really need to get this 1 point, actually. It could make a big difference for them in Group B, where it seems like we're more in a group where every point matters than in Group A.
Yeah, for Empire, this next game coming up will be pretty important. So if you want to go check out that matchup, it is on Stream 3 for us here on the mainstream. Taking things a little bit slower here in the draft. Hot 6 does seem to be utilizing as much time as they can this time, rather than saying, hey, this is our game plan. Everyone can see it, but we're still going to run with it.
Yeah, first pick this time for Virtus Pro, so I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with that. I mean, last game we saw Bloodseeker first pick, so that was kind of out of the box, even though we have seen Bloodseeker, of course, a lot of the times before. For MVP Hot 6, I'm really hoping that they can give Forev something that he can actually fight with, because he's kind of getting forced to fight, and he will be forced to fight against Virtus Pro very early on as well. But that he can also go on late, which is actually, I thought maybe a gyrocopter would be nice for him this game, but they actually banned it out themselves.
Yeah, and
so it's a bit of a shame.
I mean, of course, the fear in the first pick gyro, we've been seeing that so commonly, but then this is what we've seen otherwise. If the gyro gets banned, the Naga gets picked up, and so many teams have been very flexible with how they use the Naga Siren at TI.
Yeah, we saw actually earlier, I think it was Seneko for Navi, played support Naga Siren, got his Radiance.
Naga Siren?
Support, between quotation marks.
Questionable term at that point. But yeah, definitely turned it around, right? Started as support, but didn't really end up.
That's the strength of the hero, though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Utility is the name of the game now.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's such a flexible pick when you... Like, the reason Naga is so good is that it can play mid as a core. You can play it safe lane as a farming core as well. Support, it can even off lane. It's also good in dual off lanes because it has high base armor and good move speed. Like, there's so many things about this hero, in addition to just the feeling of safety you get in the game. Like, a lot of the teams will probably be a little bit nervous and won't maybe be feeling 100% confident in what plays they can make. And it's like, you know, it's a get out of jail free card, basically, the ultimate. or it's a get into jail on the best possible conditions card. I don't know.
I mean,
so
it's
a
more
great,
like
it's
he's
great
the
defensive.
jail warden, not
Yeah,
getting
it's a jail warden. I like that. So you can set up for team fights very well. If you're not the best team at like really crisp execution, you have the time to get in position. Or if you are a team with incredible execution, you will just be that extra bit crisp at seeing the perfect timing with Naga Silence. We've seen from teams like EG and Secret. So
Now, Bounty Hunter and Quab. Now, Quab, earlier in Game 1, we saw it go all the way to the very last phase and then getting banned finally at the very end. The Bounty Hunter, if I'm not mistaken, was it Hot 6 with the very unsuccessful Bounty Hunter yesterday?
Tinker Bounty Hunter.
Jared, yeah.
he was decently the least successful bounty hunter yesterday was Vici Gaming.
Oh, no,
they
that
went
was Vici
0-6-0
Gaming,
against EG. He had no impact at all on that game. But to be fair, no one did on Vici
Right.
Gaming.
No,
They
yeah,
just
that,
got
yeah, it was just like a special
absolutely
stat
run
at that
over.
point.
I think Jerax in general plays really, really well on roaming heroes that roam. And I'm not just like, I'm talking roaming from level 1. Like his Bounty Hunter, his Tusk,
Earthshaker as well.
his Earthshaker, those are his keys. He's very good at seeing openings on the map. So already I'm liking MVP Hot 6 draft more.
Okay.
This time they have, there's more of a clear idea of what they want to do. They have a good lane dominator in Queen of Pain who Bounty can gank for. There's a lot of potential for her to become a mid-game power hero here with the track gold. Now they just need a solid carry and to play more of a standard game, because honestly in their games it hasn't been the execution that's been lacking that much. I feel it's just been the strategizing and their
heroes.
draft.
And
Okay.
Queen of Pain is one of those spell casting heroes which is in general not one-dimensional.
Yes,
There you go.
That is true.
Yeah. You dominate the lane, you're very good in the late game, you're good early game. In general, just really good
Yeah.
throughout the game.
So Hot 6 should overall be feeling a lot more comfortable this time around. They can still work with what they've got. They're not pushed into one corner. Bloodseeker Virtus Pro picks it up this time around after the Naga.
Oh, they're going to ban the carry silencer.
Okay.
Hmm.
And we've brought this up a couple times. The possibility of VP running.
Yeah,
as
but
Silencer.
when you ban Silencer, it's like you want to pick something that Silencer directly counters most of the time.
Phoenix.
Well, that's why we see Storm ban out instantly from Virtus Pro as well.
Yeah, Storm as well. Storm is really weak against Silencer, and to a certain extent, I feel Husker is also weak against Silencer because Silencer is pure damage. He deals pure damage.
Nice mustache, G. Now he's eating it. Okay.
Does everybody use the same headsets? Hygiene issue.
All right. Well, VP overall looking pretty relaxed since the end of Game 1. But Hot 6, I mean,
The
they
next
will
ban
get
will
the-
probably give it away, though.
Okay.
If
Yeah.
they would go for Husker, you mean?
Yeah.
They will get
But
the
they
first
know
pick
that, so they would ban
afterwards.
something else instead.
They banned Darks here. Usually we say Brood after that, but Hot
that's
6
true.
doesn't play Brood.
I mean, Hot 6 does have last pick, so in terms of surprise last pick, having the Husker option still open,
Yeah, definitely.
still a possibility.
It's not very good versus the Bloodseeker Rupture, since if you
True.
jump
But
around
you want to stand
with
up,
your
stand
ultimate.
still anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets
still
you
first
before you
phase.
cast your ultimate, or during when you're casting your ultimate, then you will take a lot of damage.
Can you cast it during?
Oh,
You're
actually,
invulnerable while
before,
you fly,
yeah,
right?
before I should say before.
But
before.
still, even then, like even if you don't get the rupture off, Bloodright is pure damage. Naga Siren is, even though she is more of a, if it's being played as a core position for Virtus Pro, which we don't know yet, she can still definitely. With multiple illusions, it's difficult for Husker. He's not good against illusion-based heroes. He can't really
Right.
kill them very fast, and they do have decent physical damage as well. So, especially now with Alina being
yeah,
an Axe
with
Scepter, that
Selena,
is
it's very
absolutely not
discouraging
good.
to pick the Husker from now.
That I would be shocked if they pick it actually.
And it's probably going to be a G Lina as well, so
Yeah.
there will be an Axe.
Or no, it might. Do they when they pick Bloodseeker? It's G and mid, right? So it's probably support Lina actually this time.
DK Phobos sometimes plays it too.
The offlane Bloodseeker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's been not as much as G though. I mean, let's get that straight.
Right.
But sometimes there has been games, I believe.
Well, both of the heroes actually have a decent matchup against Queen of Pain, one-on-one. So they have the flexibility of waiting to see how the lanes are going to shape up for Hot 6, who will now pick Clockwork. Once again, their draft is way more solid than last game. I would love to see an actual hard carry here, or maybe an active carry who joins fights, such as the Slark, which I don't think that was on stream. We talked about that winter, but you consider Slark and Bloodseeker, they like counter each other,
Yeah.
whereas most people think Bloodseeker is just flat out a Slark counter.
It sort of works both ways because as a slug, if you find the Bloodseeker, you can kill him very easily, and Obviously, people talk about when it's Slug versus Bloodseeker. People always talk about, oh, you can't regen when you're low against a Bloodseeker because of how his passive interacts with you. But then again, when a Slug catches a Bloodseeker out, there's nothing much a Bloodseeker can do because there's the ultimate from the Slug, so you just can't do anything against him. And he can use Dark Pact to take away the silence from the Bird Ride as well.
All right.
I'm
Interesting
feeling,
last
I'm
ban
feeling
for
the
Hot
Phantom.
Six.
Do you think Phantom Lancer could be something good here for Hot 6?
I feel like Bloodseeker can and Naga as well can fairly easily counter the Phantom Lancer. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised to see maybe something like a Lycan instead, a hero that is not going to fight at all.
They need someone that carries very hard.
Yeah.
That's for sure. A very
Either
heavy
very
carry.
hard or just for protect one.
I think picking Lycan into Bloodseeker and Naga is...
It is not ideal, but at the same time, they will be able to fight with the other four and create the space.
Yeah, but if that's the approach they take, maybe they would be looking to something like an Anti-Mage instead. If they're expecting
True.
it to be a core Lina,
True.
it's... I don't know, there's multiple ways of looking at it. I do want to say I like the Chaos Knight ban a lot. Virtus Pro have picked it this tournament, and they rolled over their opponent in that game with the Chaos Knight. And if you look at MVP Hot 6's lineup, yes, they've got some decent AoE damage with the Queen of Pain, but Disruptor, not really that great with Static Storm,
There's the Ember.
because you can usually get around it with Chaos Knight, at least some of the illusions. And they're going to last pick the Ember, which
All right.
I like this a lot more. Like, definitely a way better draft from Hot 6. They can fight, they can... Again, their push, the win condition, maybe not the easiest to execute here. No obvious base pusher, but at the very least, they can go late this time.
Yeah,
Feel
they
like
have
that.
very good base defense, very good split push, and when they're trading kills, like if you look at what Virtus.pro have a very fighting-orientated lineup as well. Like if you're trading 1 for 1, 2 for 2, you have Bounty Hunter, you're gonna be smiling at the end of the day. So it's a really good way of dealing what VP have, and the Ember. The only thing is the Ember is going to have a tough time in the lane, I feel. He might have a tough time in the lane, but other than that, I think overall MVP's Hot 6 draft is overall better than
Right. I
what
mean,
we have seen.
an improvement from
Yeah.
what we've seen in the past.
Improvement is always good.
Yeah.
And Illidan Lina, by the way.
Yep.
So that would be
Oh
interesting
no,
to see.
he went the Bloodstorm plus Octarine.
Oh,
build.
his build yesterday on the
Yeah.
Lina, I did
Oh.
not like. And so I've said this.
Oh,
on a
yeah,
couple-
we were talking about this.
I've said this on a couple of casts. In the past, I've felt like Illidan has made some really questionable item builds as well as skill builds. For example, his No Breathe Fire Dragon Knight. I think of the past that he doesn't do anymore, but he did believe in it at the time. And over the last few months, I felt like, wow, Illidan's one of the most improved players over the last year. He plays a really solid carry role. I've pretty much every single time been on board with his builds and everything, including his kind of innovative silencer build. His Lina build yesterday, I was not a fan for the first time in quite a while. What was it? It was Bloodstone, Octarine, Yules. Yules is good.
Maelstrom.
And Maelstrom next. So, and it was not against illusion-based heroes. Weird build.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he continues to try that out and see if he can prove that it's an innovation or maybe a bit of a flop, and he'll fix that as we go forward. Game 2 has started. MVP Hot 6 versus VP Hot 6, really fighting for one extra point in Group B.
I'm kind of casually getting to that level where I'm the new Storm Spirit shape. But it's like
maybe that's why I've grown out the beard to look like Earthshaker.
Yeah, if they decide that they're suddenly we're actually on the mainstream now.
Yeah, welcome everybody from the mainstream. We're just talking about how players like to look like their heroes.
Yeah, so that's why if he gets abs, I have to start. I got to start doing crunches or something like that. But
Make it happen, Valve. Make it so Storm Spirit is super ripped. So Blitz has to get ripped as well.
yeah, do you see? So Forev is going to be playing the Ember Spirit. It's just one of those heroes that he's so closely tied with. Like for me, Ember Spirit, it's either Ferrari or Forev. Like for a lot of people, it's going to be different. But from my experiences that I remember not too fondly, it's the Forev Ember Spirit.